Greetings everyone guys. In this video, we'll be discussing the minimum looks requirement. The minimum looks requirements, what guys have to physically be in order to attract women. Basically, guys need the looks. Without the looks, the guy is not going to pass. The minimum looks requirement, it's a threshold, it's a test. It's called the looks test. A guy has to pass the woman's looks test in order for her to consider in order for her to consider hooking up with the guy, in order for her to consider that guy attractive. She needs to pass the looks test. So if a guy is a 5 out of 10, just average looking guy, average face, average jawline, so slightly below average height, and he's a cold approaching a woman who only dates guys for 8 out of 10, only dates Chad lights, she's gonna reject him. She's not going to give him any time of day. Doesn't matter how good he thinks his game is. Doesn't matter how good he thinks his personality is. Doesn't matter how good he thinks his confidence is. If the girl does not like the guy's looks, she is going to reject them. That is the minimum looks threshold. And we know that when men in the West are extremely picky and is dating in the social media dating age, women are very picky. They only want to date up women. Only want to date the top 20% of guys. The tradlights, the chads, the giga chats. That's the only guys that women really want to date. And they will share. Chad women aren't going out trying to find her knight in shining armor, trying to find that one god to be with. No, if they find a Chad, and that Chad is multiple girlfriends, girls in rotation, she does not care. All women care about is the looks. Does that guy pass her looks threshold? And women only date up if she's a 5 out of 10. She isn't going to date a guy who's a 5 out of 10. Women are not looking to date. Their looks match. Women only want to date up. If she's a 5 out of 10, she's going to look for guys who are 7s and 8s out of 10. If she herself is a 7 out of 10, she's only going to look for guys who are 9 out of 10s. Women only date up. This is why dating in this modern dating market is so difficult, because women aren't dating with their looks. Match women's looks, minimum looks, threshold is so freaking high that they only are sleeping with the top 20 of guys. The rest of everyone else has to get lucky, that everyone else has to play their numbers game. Everyone else has to use escorts, so everyone else has to just their max. So if you do feed max or try to find other avenues and other ways to sleep with women because they just don't have the looks, only way to improve your looks is to ascend, because we know in this modern dating market men are judged by the cover of their looks. Obviously, we're taught never judge a book by its cover, but in the real world, that's not how it works. Before the guy even opens his mouth, women are judging him. It's split second. Judgments before he even utters a word. Women are examining his looks. Does he have the physical appearance that she likes? Does he have the looks? Does he pass the minimum looks threshold? How tall is he? How physically fit is he? Does he have a good body frame? Does he have good hair? And when women already in their head, giving an upvote or no vote before you have an even utterism a word. And you can see it. Go out to bars, go out to clubs, go out to any place where men are cold approaching women, where women are interacting with men. You can just see it on the woman's face within the first 5 seconds of the interaction. You can already tell if she's feeling it or not, just based on the guy's looks. Women want to be with attractive men. Women want to be with the men who give them emotional feelings. Women want to be with the men who give them the dopamine rush. And that dopamine rush comes from the looks, it comes from the physical appearance. You cannot fake looks, you cannot fraud looks. You have to either have them naturally or ascend in books max and get the work you need done to have those looks. But if a guy doesn't pass the minimum looks threshold, he's doomed. It doesn't matter. There's not any words he can say out of his mouth that's going to change that woman's mind. Yes, of course, having good social skills is good. It's good. It might make you more desirable. Say a guy does have the looks, and on top of that, he has great social skills. Obviously, that's a plus. That's a cherry on top. But just having the social skills but not having the looks isn't going to do anything, for the god women aren't going out of the way to sleep with a 4 out of 10 women. Aren't going out of the way to sleep with sub-5s. Women aren't going out of their way to sleep with bloated normies. or normies who have great social skills. It just doesn't work that way. Women are judging men based on the quality of their looks. We live in this hyperinflation dating market. We live in this unlimited options dating market. It's not the 1980s anymore. It's not the 1990s anymore, where if you just have great social skills, you're going to find a girl in your local city. But that's only when she wants something long-term. We know in this modern dating market, most women don't want anything long-term. This is why the minimum looks threshold is so high right now. Because women, only want to date casually. We have women who are 35 years old, who's still only dating casually, still only sleeping with the Chad post-wall women, still skinning ran through by the Chad and Chad lights. That's what. The dating market right now is so destroyed because women aren't dating men on their looks match. Women only dating the Chads, even when the post-wall, they only want to view the chats. Women would rather be alone on the couch, eating ice cream, than be able to sub 5 to be able to annoy me. Women only want to date the child, and they don't mind if Chad is sharing her with other women. This is what having a nice, attractive face is so important for the minimum looks threshold. Say a guy is on the shorter side. Say he's like 5'7", 5'8". Well, great face can make up for that, because the great face shows that a guy is high trust. It shows he's trustworthy. It shows that he has the halo effect. It shows that women can rely on him. It shows that he has good personality. Tragic, just because he has an attractive face. Meanwhile, the average guy who has a bad face, maybe he's 5'8" with a bad face, that's low trust. That's going to show that women can't really trust them. Women can't really rely on them. These split-second decisions determine nations that women make just based on the face alone. It's its female nature, because it's how women are. It's how women evolve to be. So ultimately, guys, what is beautiful is good. What is attractive is good. This is why the Chad and Chad light, they perceive to be good. When they leave, they perceive to be something special, to be perceived to be something that's noteworthy, something that's holding. That's where they're being held onto. Just because they have the looks without meeting the minimum looks threshold, it's just brutally over for most guys. You have to ascend, you have to looks max. If guys want to ascend in looks, max, for guys who don't want to ascend, they don't want to play the game anymore, that's fine. But for guys who want to play the dating game, who want to steal code, approach women who are looking for a girlfriend, looking for hookups, they're doing infields in the dating market. You have to improve your looks. You have to ascend. You have to be physically attractive. Because without being physically attractive, you're gonna struggle in the dating market, especially if you're in a major city. For example, for guys in Miami, for example, it's hyperinflation on the looks in a city like Miami because there's so many other attractive guys. So you need to at least be a high terminal, at the very least. And that's just to get your foot in the door. Women really only want the Chad lights and the chats and the giga chats high term normally. That's a woman to be like. She's settled for that. So it depends on your location as well. For example, if you're in a small town, then you have a high term. Normally he might be able to slay in a small town because there's just not that many guys available. There's not that many Chads. So the minimum looks threshold is going to vary based on your location. But online dating is the hardest because the minimum look still showed is set in stone. Women are only dating the ace 9 and 10s on social media because women can find unlimited men on social media. Women aren't bound and restricted to their own city on social media. So girls living in Texas, well, she can date a guy who's living in California. She can date a guy who's living in Europe. She can date a guy who's living in the Far East if that's what she's into. Maybe she likes a guy in Dubai. She can fly out there. She can fly to different cities. You can fly to a different country and smash the Chad who she found online, smashed the chatter. She found an online date, and this is why online dating is the most brutal. It's the most unforgiving. It's the most hardest to pull. Women attract the women online. I'm not talking about a land where obviously, hopefully, our guy can pull a land while online an event. That might be a little difficult. This is what the best way to determine and get a fair, accurate description of your looks level is to date in person, because you can figure out if a woman is failing you based on the first 5 seconds of interaction, how she looks at you, how she responds to you. Is she repulsed by you? Is she walking away from you? Is she trying to get you her friends to get in the way so she can, bow down and bow out? It's easier to get a fair assessment of what your looks level is. The first 5 to 10 seconds of the interaction is determined by the guy's looks. If he passes the minimum looks threshold, and he passes it with flying colors, meaning her minimum looks threshold, it's a 7 out of 10. And this guy's a 9 out of 10. Well, he's in the doors, it's easy for him. She's going to sleep with him based on his looks alone. All he has to do is be able to hold a conversation, carry a conversation, and let the woman do the rest in some cases. The God is enough to carry the conversation. The woman will carry the conversation for him if he just has the looks and keeps his mouth shut. She's going to sleep with him. This is why social skills and game is a slippery slope. Because if you say the wrong thing, you could turn a woman off, versus if you're just quiet, let her initiate all the conversation talking points. Then she's going to go home with you. She's going to invite you over to her place. She's going to give you her numbers. Guys, it's important that men understand the importance of looks understanding, the importance of passing the minimum look threshold, understand the importance of passing the looks test. It's the most important test that a guy can pass in his life, because if he has the looks, he's going to have, if success with women, he's going to have dating success. He's going to have a much happier life overall. It's all based on the looks. It's all based on the physical appearance. So looks max to the best of your ability and hope for the best. Because this can be it for this video. If you like my content, make sure you subscribe. Please like, please comment. Until next time.